Hello, welcome along to another video. Today I'm going to be looking mainly at autumn management. I'm on my way to clients that I've been with for 10 years now, so Pat and Tom, or Mossy Muldoon, really good people up in County Offaly that I've been to many times, and in the early years we made a lot of changes, so yeah, they've really grown their business and we'll be looking at that. Built a new parlour this year, so at last sort of milking around the 10 rows. I think there were probably 20-25 rows going through a small parlour up till now, but we'll have a look at that when we get there. The biggest thing is having a look at this whole building cover thing. It just annoys me so much already in early August to see this whole mainstream narrative coming through like, oh, it's August, we need to start building covers, and it's the terminology that I have a problem with. I think talking about building covers makes farmers sort of, make some really poor decisions. Instead of taking some paddocks out when the growth is still well above demand, they're going, oh, we need to build covers now. And especially when I see this whole message around, oh, maybe you need to feed supplements to build your covers, and I just, oh my god, it just annoys me so much, because if you allow your pre-grazing covers to rise above 1500 in Ireland or 3000 in the UK in August, you're going to reduce intakes in the cows. You're going to have to push the cows harder to graze the residuals. Then your paddocks are going to just take that little bit more to recover, or you're going to be leaving longer residuals, which then in September you're going to be building your covers on top of these poor residuals. So look, it's just something I really struggle with, and it's something I'm pretty well known for trying to combat a little. I've had so many clients run my autumn grazing philosophy over the years, whether it's a wet autumn or a dry autumn, or whether it's a wet farm or a dry farm, it works. And especially if it's a really wet farm, you just can't allow yourself to get those pre-grazing covers in excess of 1500 in August, and then in September I allowed them to go 16, 17, 18. So the big message from me is that I manage autumn by pre-grazing covers, and whenever your wedge looks like you're going to be continually grazing in excess of those pre-grazing cover targets, you take them out. So something I really want to look at today, and I think it's certainly a farm by farm thing that I manage it as a consultant, but I just want to have a look at that today. So yeah, we'll meet up probably mainly with Mossy over there and have a look at what they're doing and what they've done, and have a chat about all that. How you going? So yeah, I'm here on farm with Mossy. Hey Mossy.
Andre, how are you?
Yeah, good man.
Thanks for coming.
It's always good to be here. It feels like every time I come here the grass is growing better than anywhere else I go. So I'm just going past a paddock that was grazed a couple of days ago, was it?
Yeah, 4 days ago.
So no nitrogen's gone on there?
No. It got, the last round it got 20 units, but it hasn't got anything since now.
No, okay. And so we're, what, 4th of August or so? Growth rate sitting 90?
Yeah, around 100. Yeah, so.
Bad. So yeah, things are going pretty well.
Yeah, things are going well now. Yeah, sure, their cows are milking well, and we're getting good growth rates at the moment, like, you know. So, but we always seem to grow well this time of the year. Yeah,
you always get good autumns. But then you haven't struggled with the dry. I mean, I've got a lot of clients in the UK and in the southeast that are still really struggling with growth rates at the moment. You haven't had that?
No, we don't really seem to get, thank God now, we don't really get them sort of issues or them problems, you know, and then when we do, we don't suffer as much.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I think the lowest growth rates we get during, I think back a few years ago, was it 2018 or 19 when the real drought was?
2018, yeah.
I think we went around 25 or 30 of a growth rate. That's as low as we went.
Yeah, okay. Not bad, yeah. And yet you can get cows out in spring pretty well. It's not often that you have to pull the pin on grazing.
No, look, we're lucky that way now. Like, it's a good vein of ground. Like, cows seem, you know, they can travel nearly every day of the year if they wanted, like, you know, so.
Yeah, so if I was going to buy a dairy farm, this would be the place to do it. So at the moment, grazing, pre-grazing covers are 1,500, so 3,000 in real money. Yeah, so you're missing a round of nitrogen at the moment. Yeah, so you're just trying to increase the palatability and bring your growth rates back a bit.
Yeah, you see, look at it's growing 100 of a grow. It's good. It's look, it's great. Like, but and we won't complain. But it does bring us challenges there as well.
Yeah, because I mean, you got already a surplus of silage on hand.
We do, yeah. Sure, cheers. We're after making 600 or 700 bales surplus, and
yeah,
we've 32 hectares taken out as well for long-term silage. So
right now,
yeah. So may get more out.
How many cows are you milking?
220.
220, yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, you took on a piece of lease ground next door a couple of years ago. Then you had TB issues. That it's been a struggle to try and build numbers, isn't it?
It has, yeah, and sure. Look, it was. We're building from our own. Like, we're keeping a lot of replacements, and you know, if we had you at the time there when you went to New Zealand, we probably would have done things a little bit differently. We maybe would have bought cows at the time. It was a slower process, but look, we got there in the end. But we still a good bit to go. TB took a lot of cows on us at the time, so
yeah, that really
set us back. Yeah, and it's always the good ones.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, we'll get there.
Yeah. So you probably grow 14, 15 tonne of dry matter here?
Oh, we would. Yeah. Last year there we grew just 13, just shy of 13 actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new block here, we've a lot of it reseeded. We still I think we've 22 acres left to reseed. Other than that, then it's all after being reseeded in the last couple of years.
Yeah. When I first came here in 2015, you were milking 120 cows total, maybe calving 90 odd spring, and then had about 25 or 30 autumns. Yeah, so it was quite a different operation at that stage. But now
it's love hardship. Yeah.
Now
love calving cows. I know we simplify. Like, it's all spring calving now, but
actually, when I first came along, you had a whole black and white herd. Probably New Zealand black and whites.
There would have been,
yeah. So
then, that was using back Keats and Danos at the time.
Yeah, and
Paddy's KUIs.
Then you put 100% Jersey over the whole herd. I remember you used all OKT, all integrity,
OKT yeah.
So how's that all gone?
Yeah, that worked out very well. Thank God. It was. Geez, when you think back, using the one bull for a few years, but geez, we got great results.
Yeah.
With OKT. But even before that, we were using look, we were flirting with the idea of crossbreeding. We used a few crossbred bulls on the black and whites.
Yeah.
But we went with the Jersey bull then. We seemed to get a better cross then, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and then since that, so after that first cross, what did you do?
First cross then, we went in with the likes of Sierra, crossbred bull then.
Yeah.
And look, at our aim is to keep about a 3/4 Frisian, quarter Jersey.
Yeah.
That's our ideal type of cow.
That's sort of where you are now. I mean, at first you were talking about keeping it 50-50, but you've sort of gone more towards wanting a 2/3, 3/4 at least. Yeah. So.
No, it's just to try to get the right size of a cow.
Yeah, and there's a target in place, isn't it? Sort of future-proofing the herd. Want to ideally get back to that sort of 540 odd kilos of milk solids. So I remember when I first came here, actually, you were one of the places that we were talking about getting the cows peaking at 2.4 kilos of milk solids, and
that's right.
You were going like,
how the hell do you do that?
Yeah, couldn't even imagine it. And I said to you, like, there'll be a proportion of the herd that's doing it. It's just making sure that you can get the herd profile right to all be doing it.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, you were doing.
Oh shit, that was a big that was a massive milestone, to be honest with you. Like.
Yeah.
Because when you said there was no, because we were peaking at 2 kilos of milk solids, if even, at peak, you know. So to be able to, when you said there's lads doing 2.4, 2.5, we said, Jesus, what more can we do to get that? Like, you know. So. But when we got there, then it was a great.
Yeah, you ended up being the ones probably doing it better than anyone, in my opinion, in that, you know, you were peaking at 2.5 kilos of milk solids with maybe 2 kilos of meal going in.
2 kilos a meal, yeah.
And you know, a smaller cow. And I remember one year, yeah, you were doing 2.5 odd kilos of milk solids, sort of going, you just feel like there's a little bit more in them.
There is,
so it's amazing how your perception can change of what's possible. But so yeah, it was just
so between grass management and the type of cow as well, with genetics, you know, you're able to hit them targets a lot easier, like, you know.
Well, very much genetics, isn't it? You know, you have to have. I think initially maybe already trying to build numbers a bit, and you end up sort of keeping passengers. I think it's a big risk with TB as well, is that you know, you lose some good cows, you end up retaining cows that otherwise you would have culled.
Exactly.
So you end up with a few passengers in the herd.
Yeah. That was definitely the case when TB came. Sure, we ended up keeping probably cows that shouldn't have been in the system.
Yeah.
So we've weaned a lot of them out, but we're still trying to do that. There's still a few more to go, like, but yeah, it's just trying to replace them with good cows. Try to get to our target number.
Yeah. You know what you can do, and also, I mean, you were running a stocking rate of probably 3.5 cows per hectare, or over 3.5 cows per hectare on the milking platform. I mean, now you're well below that. Like,
well below, like, sure.
I mean, you've got your
2.3 now is what we're running at, like, you know. So
you've kind of got your silage ground as part of your milking platform.
Yeah, that was a big change as well. So before we were stocked on the platform, it was just cows. The heifers were on one block, and then we had a block then as well for cutting silage.
Yeah.
That was cut 3 times, but that's gone now, and we cut the silage on the grazing platform as well.
Yeah.
Which is great because you get your back end grazing, your front end grazing, back end grazing, but you know, I suppose it can be a bit of a challenge in between as well, like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, talking about the back end grazing, I mean, that's the big thing for me today, is just looking at that, because you're some of the early adopters of my philosophy, I suppose. You know, like, the one big thing I recognise in the first couple of years being here is analysing the difference between here and New Zealand, is that when we talked about building covers in New Zealand, we wouldn't be doing it in August, because August is like February in New Zealand. Like, you know, February in New Zealand is like August over here. There's no way we'd be talking about building covers in February in New Zealand. You know, we might be starting to build covers in April.
Yeah.
And a lot of those philosophies seem to have been brought over from New Zealand, but they're manipulated to be in the wrong time of the year. So when I was going around farms over here, I saw them building covers. Cows are grazing way too high covers in August already, but especially in September. And then there was a bit of a yellow base in it, because your day length is declining very quickly. Bit of a yellow base, then that grass regrows slower, and also the cows' intakes were lower, the utilisation was lower. There was a whole bunch of things going on. Cows weren't grazing down to the right residual, you know, they weren't hitting that 0 or 1500 on the plate residual. And so people were saying they've got this cover in the back end, but it wasn't all utilisable. And you were very much like that before I came along too.
That was a big thing. Like, as I was saying before, like, we grow a lot of grass at the back end.
Yeah.
And I suppose we had this thing in our head, we had to build up enough of grass, a base of grass, and then eat into it, you know, so a block of grass. But we changed that there then, because what we were finding was, look, it was having an impact on production at the back end, but it was also affecting the spring.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to force them going into heavy covers at the back end. You know, had that white butt, slower growths on that then for the remainder of the back end, and then it was a problem then coming into the spring as well.
Yeah.
You didn't have that green to the butt.
Yeah, because the first year we made the change, oh God, I remember it. You came into the ploughing, and we
thought we're great lads coming in. Jeez, we've all this grass here now.
And I told you to go home and put the mower on.
Put the mower on. Oh, jeez, we couldn't believe it, like, you know that.
But you did.
We did, and we took out a couple of paddocks at the end of September. And
3 or 4, if I remember. Like,
yeah,
at the time, it was quite a proportion of your platform came out.
Yeah. And we done that, and lads were looking over the ditch, said, "Jeez, where are these guys going cutting silage in the end of September?" Like, but it turned out to be the best thing we ever done, because, as I was saying, like, we were getting good growth at the back end. We probably ended up closing then at a cover on them paddocks at about 1,000.
Yeah.
So we opened up then in the spring of about maybe 1,400 or 1,500. But it was chalk and cheese.
Yeah, but
trying to graze
but
that
the thing is, you know, like I think the big thing was that you're not removing it out of your last rotation. You might have mowed them out, but it still allowed you to graze those paddocks in the last rotation. And the thing is, you're grazing those paddocks, you're grazing after grass, so those cows just lick them up and get a good residual green to the base, and that grass then carries so well through the winter. You know, and that's the big thing about removing paddocks. You know, for me, the question about when do we stop taking out surpluses, it's like, do not remove it from the last rotation, you know. So the end of September meant that you still had that coming in at the end of your last rotation, you know. In the past, when I was analysing systems, what I recognised is that people were saying they were starting the last round on the 5th of October. But I found then when I looked at it, effectively they'd started the last rotation on 25th of September or 30th September, because they grazed these high covers, they hadn't regrown very well, then they hit their target closing cover and they had to pull the pin on the grazing, you know. So and the other thing also is that I think you found production holds up better when you're grazing shorter covers. It does. And nutritionally, you're better off with slightly lower covers in October, November, and have to put silage in, than to be stuck with too high covers and poor utilisation, because nutritionally, you know, your dry matter gets very low October, November, your digestibility gets too high, so the rumen efficiency drops, and having a couple of kilos of silage in the diet at that stage
complements it very well.
Absolutely,
but it was always a challenge trying to graze at the back end.
Yeah.
You know, you thought you were great at building up all these covers, like, but it was such a challenge to get through it.
Yeah.
And it was hard on the cow as well, but it was also, it was affecting the spring, like, as well, you know. Whereas now what we do is, we sort of just watch our average farm cover, we keep things going, try to keep grazing covers of 1500, 1550, and try to get the clean outs. But
then, in September, so August 1500, in September we allowed them to sort of go 16, 17, 18. And the funny thing is, and I said to you before we came out here, that I don't think my actual philosophy is very different than the mainstream philosophy, except the terminology I use is very different. You know, like I manage by pre-grazing covers and rotation length, and at the moment what I see is that, you know, you need to build covers, and the greatest way to do that is to increase your rotation length. But we do need to increase your rotation length through August, because of course if we expect growth rates of 60, then, you know, 2060s is only 1200, you know, so you know, you need to get out past that 25 days in August, because your growth rates are dropping back. So to hit those target pre-grazing covers, your rotation length needs to change, doesn't it?
Change, big time,
And that's the big thing. And in September we allow our pre-grazing covers to maybe rise 16, 17, and for me 1800, which in the UK and New Zealand be classed as 33, maybe 3400 at the very highest pre-grazing covers. You know, and the key is to still have it green to the base, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's the key. Yeah, like, so it's like if cows are willing to graze it down, or graze down willingly, you're winning, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And trying to force cows to graze down heavy covers.
And it's green to the base, and it recovers well and carries well through the winter. Geez, that's some cow. Look at the capacity on here. It's lovely.
Yeah. OKT over Dano.
Right. Yeah. It's always blows me away. You know every cow, her background.
Yeah, it's becoming a struggle now. The more. But it's I know 3/4 of them anyway.
Yeah. I do have to say, Mossy, we say we're hard and fast on a pre-grazing cover target of 1500 or 3000, but it sort of looks like there's a little bit more in here, or was more in here when the cows came in here.
There was probably a bit of damage from before. Probably pre-grazing cover from the last round was maybe a little bit too high.
And is it a risk at the moment that you've got such a surplus silage on hand that you're almost reluctant to take out a paddock? Yeah. I mean, what are the cows doing? Like the cows
they're doing 2 kilos of milk solids at the moment.
Right. And
which I'm happy with.
What are you feeding?
2 kilos.
2 kilos of meal, grass, 2 kilos of milk solids.
You see,
so they're doing well, and 2 kilos of milk solids at the moment. And you say you're targeting 500 kilos of milk solids for the year, but I mean, really, you'd think that you think you'd end up a lot higher than that. Look, if they're still doing 2, you know.
We'd be hoping to do a little bit more, but.
You're getting married in December, aren't you?
So married in December, yeah.
So the cows have to be dry then, do they?
We dropped 10 kilos of milk solids there.
Mind you, you might have to keep them milking to pay for it.
Keep them. You see, this is it. Yeah. Winter milking.
Actually, one other thing that I was going to say, I mean, you got the new Parlor.
New Parlor, yeah.
This
yeah.
year?
We're in it February
So,
this year, yeah.
I mean,
thank God.
You know, you've always been under a bit of pressure with the expansion and everything else, and the development, and the Parlor sort of came last. But I mean, you were milking, you got 220 cows milking.
220 cows, yeah. We started off, we had an 8 unit, and we put 192 cows through that. And then we doubled it up then, because we're still we're doing roadways and water and fencing all in this new block. And we doubled it to an 8 unit then. It was a double 8.
Right.
And we put 15 through that.
Yeah.
And then this year now we've
So the new Parlor was commissioned when?
First week of February.
Oh, okay, so you started it with it this year. Yeah,
yeah.
okay. I couldn't remember whether you actually milked for a month and then commissioned it, or started straight away. Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
that was a bit. That's like anything with expansion. It was left to last. You know, your Parlor, like, but
well, I don't know. Some people do it first, you know, and you got to make the money first, and then you can put the infrastructure in place. But I guess it did get to a point where I think the Parlor size was impacting the production, like cows standing around.
Standing around, and when you look at, like, when we're going back there, when we peaked at 2.4 kilos of milk solids, like, we were milking 150 or 160 cows at the time. Like, it was still long to be standing in the Parlor, but it wasn't as bad as what it was. Say a couple of years ago, but you know, something had to give. Like, so we were doing 530 or 540 kilos of milk solids back then, and look, we dropped to about 480 last year. We were 500. We hope to do 500 again this year. But all them things played a huge factor in it, like, you know.
Yes, I mean, at the moment there's a plan to just sort of get rid of some of those passengers, because I mean that was sort of one of the things. Mistakes made maybe is that you took on some cows.
If you were here, if you hadn't gone to New Zealand, we probably would have done things that's slightly different. Like, we would have bought cows.
Well, you did buy some cows. It's just there would have been cows that I would have said no to.
Yeah, definitely. One look at them, you would have said no way. Like.
Yeah.
But
that's key, isn't it? Genetics.
Oh, sure. It is.
The right cow is everything. Yeah, for your system, you know, like if you're indoor milking 3 times a day, these are not the right cow. But
no,
we're getting paid for kilos of milk solids, you know, for your fat and protein, and you know, you've developed a lovely herd of crossbred cows, and the core of this herd is phenomenal.
Ah, yes, your OKT is your base.
Yeah.
You know, like, it worked out. It was a risk, like, but it worked out. It worked out very well.
Yeah.
But like that, trying to get out in the spring and the back end grazing, like, that's key to your type of cow as well. You know, you could have all the grass there and infrastructure, but you need the cow to be able to travel the ground and get the intakes, like, you know. So
yeah. So I've been coming here for 10 years.
10 years,
you think you'd be
the
sick
anniversary
of me?
there a week ago.
Yeah.
10-year anniversary.
So you think you'd be sick of having me by now, but we still. There's always something, isn't it?
Ah, sure. This is it, sure. Like, it's
and it doesn't take much to just you know, sometimes it just come to give you the confidence to make the decision that you're sort of toying with,
or kick up the arse either.
Yeah, that happens a bit.
We all need that.
And perhaps a bit of accountability at times.
Ah, yeah, but sure. Look at you. You could be stuck in a rut, or you're doing the same thing every day, or you're trying to do things well. But it's when the likes of you come in, or, you know, just to give a second opinion on things and try steer us in the right direction. You know, because every year is different. Like, things are changing all the time.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because sometimes we've looked at, okay, what if we do this? What if we do that? And we've done some budgets and compared them, and then it becomes very clear. Then
very clear.
Yeah.
But sure, like, even we done a budget there a couple of weeks ago on buying a couple of cows.
Yeah.
And the difference that can do then over a 4 or 5 year budget, like, you know, it's a no-brainer.
We're talking way over 100 grand.
Way
wasn't
over 100 grand. Like, it's massive. Massive.
Yeah.
You know, but that's where the budget and all them things come into play, because you can be looking at your initial investment, you know, and the capital to try, you know, to purchase this stock. But when you look at the bigger picture, and when you go break down the sums and go through the budgets, it's an easy decision then, like, you know.
Yeah, but at the moment, I mean, you've just got way too much feed in your system, and now you're spending it on a contractor to turn it into surplus silage. So
I know,
you know, we're going to need mouths on hand to get through that big pile of silage you made now. So
another millennium here.
Yeah. Actually, we think we've covered it pretty well, but it's amazing coming past this paddock, and we were just talking on the way back to the Parlor, and cows are in here a day or so ago, and yeah, graze it down. Regrowth is quite visible, but just my last visit here was a month ago.
Yeah.
And at the time, we're just sort of coming at the end of the reproductive phase, I suppose. Grass is still a little bit stemmy, and cows actually did drop back to what, 1.7 kilos of milk solids.
1.7, 2 or 3, yeah.
But
yeah.
my comment at the time is I wasn't really happy with the kind of meal you're feeding at the time. Yeah,
so it was just a cheap and cheerful nut just to get them into the Parlor.
Yeah,
so a kilo as well.
You were saying, look, we just want to feed a bit of meal to get them into the Parlor, but you know, this is the importance of megajoules of energy, and that's what it all revolves around. I looked at that situation at the time, and I said, man, that's the substitution rate on that poorer quality feed is too high.
Yeah.
So you did change to a better quality nut.
A good quality nut.
Yes, but I think the substitution rate ended up being a lot lower. So the grass went into the vegetative phase. You got more leafier pasture, plus also the cows are consuming a lot more of it because your meal isn't inhibiting that intake with a better quality nut.
Sure, that's where to go from 1.7 a couple of weeks ago to 2 now, or a little over 2. Like, it's all intakes, like, you know, it's simple, yeah.
It is so simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's funny how you can get focused on the wrong thing, and I always say to people, any one KPI in isolation is meaningless, because if people get too caught up on one thing, you know, we're trying to save ourselves costs. But you know, like if you're
that was, we'd all this grass.
Yeah.
So, geez, I'm going to pull them back, but it wasn't the right thing to do.
No.
And it wasn't the right nut to be giving them as well.
And a little tweak, I mean,
a little tweak,
you know, you could be sitting
difference.
here at 1.7 kilos of milk solids and saying, oh, well, it's that time of the year and we're quite happy with it. But here you are at 2 kilos of milk
2
solids.
kilos of milk solids,
I mean, 0.3 kilos of milk solids for 220 cows is a hell of a lot of income per day difference, isn't it? You know, and especially in the milk price year that it is. So it's funny, isn't it, how you're always finding little things to tweak.
But that's the difference as well. Like, you know, I could have sent you the grass figures there, and looking from the outside in, it might have been the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But it was only when you came and we actually seen what was going on, and then you done your report, and we made the tweak. Like, it's been a huge difference, like, you know what I mean? But like, you wouldn't have seen until you came out and actually walked the farm. You wouldn't have been able to see that, like, you know what I mean?
No, and
we wouldn't have made that decision.
That's quite funny. It's a thing I quite often say, is that when I try and do remote consultancy, and a lot of the UK work is remote consultancy, you're relying on the information interpreted by the client, you know. So, and it's just, that's the big difference, I suppose, is that I tend to interpret things differently than what they do and what you do, and sometimes.
Sure, I could have said, sure, Andrew, we're 1,000 of a farm cover, 900 of a farm cover. We've loads of grass in the system. You know, it's very easy to direct someone then. Yeah. But like, you know, it's only when you came out, and it's made a huge difference.
We're feeding 2 kilos of meal. This is our cover. This is our pre-grazing covers, and I would have said, well, that's as good as you can do. Yeah. It's just that with a bit of further analysis on everything that was going on, it was like, actually, we just tweaked things a little bit, and.
But like the 2 kilo of a better nut, like, it's complemented the grass very well. Like, you know, it hasn't impacted on clean outs. It's actually benefited. Intakes have gone way up. We seem to be getting more grass into cows. Yeah. You know, like.
And that's a big thing, isn't it? You know, and I always say that's the cost of meal is substitution rate, you know, like, and the impact it has on the appetites of the cows, you know, like people that are feeding 4 or 5 kilos of meal, and they're saying, look, you know, it's a year we can afford to feed rah-de-rah. It's how much grass is substituting out. It's now what you're having to do with that grass. You know, now you're spending money on having to do something with that grass that's substituting out, and it's the impact on the grazing behaviour. You know, and like we really notice that cows that are on higher levels of meal, just they are easy to congregate by the gate.
And they're not settled.
No, they're not settled. No.
You know.
So it's nice when things are just going along nicely and the cows are humming.
Well, sure, geez, look, it's long may it last. Like, I know it's different parts of the country might be different, like, you know, but that's just a tweak of management. Like, no one management is the same for every farm, like, you know. What works well for us might work well for someone else, like, you know.
Exactly,
so that's the biggest difference.
And now you're cutting out nitrogen for around. Yeah. So ideally, it's trying to get the cows to really do a good job on the grazing for a rotation.
Yeah, probably at the most, it might get dirty water maybe at 1,500 or 2,000 gallons. Yeah. That'd be the most I get now this round. Yeah. And then really knuckle down then on clean outs then
through
or
August. Yep.
Through August.
Yes, I always say August is clean out month.
That's it, yeah.
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 Not build cover month. So yeah, a bit
Well,
different
that's what we used to
terminology.
do. No.
No, good stuff.